Good morning, Team Alabama. You're going to turn in Hidden Figures to Chapter 8. It's the duration, and it's on page 58. Please turn in your Chromebooks to page 58. The duration. Though Dorothy Vaughan loved her new job in Hampton and was proud to be helping her country with the war effort, she missed her children terribly. She sometimes worked 18-hour days, and the demands of her job made it difficult for her to get home except for during the holidays. And it seemed like the minute that she walked through the door at the family house back in Farmville, it was time for her to turn around and head back to Newport News. When she could go home, the back and forth lifestyle was taking a toll. Dorothy wanted something more permanent. Like most of the computers at the Langley Memorial Aeronautical Laboratory, Dorothy was a temporary war service employee. She didn't know when or if the laboratory would offer her a permanent job. Dorothy knew what she wanted her future to look like. So in July of 1944, she signed a lease on a new 2-bedroom apartment in Newsom Park. Dorothy wanted her children eventually to live with her for good in Newport News. This 2-bedroom apartment would be a start, but finding the right house hadn't been easy. There weren't enough homes available to meet the demands of the growing African American population. Dorothy chose a neighborhood near where she had been living for the previous 9 months. It included black families from all income levels. Domestic workers lived next to doctors, lawyers next to laborers, small business owners next to civil servant mathematicians. All were welcome. Dorothy's new home was identical to the 1,199 others that had been built in the same subdivision. Newsom Park was also designed to keep morale high among the wartime workers who had to work long hours under stressful conditions. The Newsom Park residents loved that their neighborhood had a community center with a kitchen and banquet space, rooms for club meetings, and basketball and tennis courts. They even had a baseball diamond, and the shopping center included a grocery store, drugstore, barber shop, beauty parlor, cleaners, and a TV repair shop, a nursery school, and a new elementary school were in walking distance from her new apartment. Dorothy's mother-in-law tried to discourage the move. "You're not going to take my babies," she said to Dorothy, and Dorothy appreciated her mother-in-law's help all the months that she'd been away, but now she needed her children to be close to her. A year after Dorothy left Farmville, her children moved into the apartment in Newsom Park. They started at Newsom Park Elementary School in the fall of 1944. Her husband continued to travel with his job as a bellman. He came down to visit when he could, but he didn't stay long. Victory over Japan. By 1945, 5 out of 10 people in southeastern Virginia worked for the government. Housing developments sprawled for miles. The community was built around the business of war, but people were starting to wonder what a defense industry boomtown would become during a time of peace. So they all had jobs because there was a war going on, but everybody was worried that when the war ends, what's going to happen? Okay, so that might be a question that you have.
Good afternoon, Highland Middle School. At this time, we have 8 contestants who have found our hidden gnome. We will be selecting our winner at 2:15. So if you have not turned in your picture or selfie with the gnome, you have until 2:15. Good luck.
Sorry, guys. I haven't found the gnome. The answer came on VJ Day, Victory over Japan Day. On August the 14th, 1945 at 7 p.m., newscasters announced that World War II was over. All over town, soldiers and civilians streamed into the streets. Business owners locked their doors and joined the celebrations that went on throughout the night. People paraded down the streets, and workers held hands to form human chains as they danced around cars. Makeshift confetti rained down from the windows onto the streets below. But after the initial celebrations and parties, uncertainty settled in. 3 weeks after VJ Day, the Norfolk Journal and Guide reported layoffs of 1,500 Newport News shipyard workers and a decrease of women workers, both white and colored. Returning servicemen were expected to have first claim on the jobs that remained in the peacetime economy. With the return of the men who had been fighting overseas, the demand for women workers dropped. 2 million American women, black and white alike, received pink slips, meaning they didn't have their jobs, or notices that they were losing their jobs. Okay, so you could write pink slip down as a vocab word, and it's a notice that you're losing your job. Notice that your job is no longer available. Even before the war officially ended, some women looked forward to going home. Others enjoyed their jobs and their paychecks, and they didn't want to go back to the traditional female roles in the kitchen and the nursery. Many husbands will return home to find that the helpless little wives that they left behind have become grown, independent women, wrote a female columnist in the Norfolk Journal and Guide. Post-war prejudice. Almost immediately after VJ Day, some employers returned to their policies of not hiring African Americans. With the labor market changing, the dream that many black leaders had of establishing permanent economic opportunity began to slip away. No one was more opposed to opening hiring policies to African Americans than Virginia's Democratic Senator Harry Byrd, who called the policy the most dangerous idea ever seriously considered. Byrd's family had built a newspaper and an apple growing fortune, and he treated segregation as a religion. He ran a political machine that kept the poor of all races divided against one another. Okay, so here's a picture of Harry Byrd. If you want to put a fact down about him, you can say he was a pretty racist man. And there were several other facts. He was Virginia's Democratic senator. His family built a newspaper and an apple growing fortune. Okay, page 63 at the top. Dorothy, like so many of the others who had come to Hampton Roads during the war, didn't want to return to her former life. She assumed that she was going to keep her job and continue with her new life. It wasn't a risk-free bet. Dorothy committed to the lease on the apartment in Newsom Park before Langley converted her wartime employee status to that of a permanent civil service employee. She didn't want to wait to put down her roots in her new home, even though it soon became apparent that losing the apartment was still a possibility. Dorothy and the others who lived in the neighborhood learned that some local officials wanted to demolish Newsom Park and redevelop the neighborhood, and federal authorities planned to pry the houses off their foundations and send them to war-devastated populations in Europe. The residents went back and forth with the government over the status of their neighborhood, which they had come to love. The government said that Newsom Park was not temporary in character, yet not permanent in its current location. Though they lived in a state of limbo, the people of Newsom Park were determined to do everything they could to keep their community alive. Life in Newport News was an adjustment for Dorothy's children, who missed their small-town freedom and the space at the big house in Farmville. But as the months passed, the family settled in, and Dorothy had become quite close to her fellow West computer, Miriam Mann. They were friends both at work and at home, and their families had become like one large extended family. When Dorothy and Miriam learned that the famous African-American singer Marian Anderson was going to perform at Hampton Institute, the women made plans for their families to go together. On the day of the performance, Dorothy looked over at her children, who were entranced by Anderson's beautiful voice. Dorothy knew this moment was one her family would never forget, and she knew they were home. That's the end of Chapter 8. Have a great rest of your day, Team Alabama. Please add a few facts to your Google Doc at this time, and some vocab and questions if you've not already done it. Have a great day.